445 for nobody.
Long live nobody.
Let's give the people what they want. We are putting secession on the ballot this year. How many people do you know, if they had a chance to vote for one billionaire or another, if they saw that on the ballot, they would choose to secede instead? This idea of localization, localizing government, getting it down to the community level, localization is the cure for polarization. This is the everybody gets what they want strategy. When government is at the community level, it's voluntary based on your values to meet your needs. And before we get into anything else tonight, I just want to say that any one of the candidates on this stage up here tonight would be a better president than Cheeto Jesus, the other arrogant billionaire, Pocahontas, Mayo Pete, someone named Clementum I've never heard of, or that angry socialist who just wants every American to have their own vacation home. Ms. Jorgens.
Is this okay? In the 1990s, my stump speech talked about the Republican politicians who kept selling out freedom. And I started off by saying that the Republican politicians are the politically equivalent of 1-900 phone sex. They tell us how much they want it. They tell us how good it's going to be. They tease us and tempt us and tell us how great it will be. But they never come over. So what's the difference between then and now? Now they're not even trying. They're not even pretending to cut taxes and cut spending. Now it's like, ooh, baby, yeah, don't you want it? And that's all we get. All we hear from Republicans now is fear that the Democrats might take over. And what do we get from the Democrats? Again, in the 90s, the Democrats kept saying, oh, no, we're not socialists, no. And now the front leader is a self-declared socialist. And what are they afraid of? Again, their message is fear against the Republicans. Neither one is sending a positive message, and we need to send a positive message of liberty. What we need to do is we need to grow the party. During the 96 campaign, Harry Brown and I doubled the size of the party so that we could have quality candidates at every local, or at every level, state and local. And that's what I'd like to do again. Thank you.
Mr. Hornberger.
Thank you, and it's great to be back here with you all at the Florida Libertarian Party Convention. We live in a society in which the federal government has effectively nationalized our income. They take whatever percentage they want with this tyrannical agency called the Internal Revenue Service. They make us give permission, consent to engage in occupations. If we don't comply, they put us in jail. If we don't comply with their tax laws, they put us in jail. They even kill us if they call it resisting arrest. They've got a system of mandatory charity, which isn't really charity at all. But if you don't comply with it, they put you in jail. If you travel to countries that they don't approve of and trade, like Iran or North Korea or Cuba, they put you in jail. If you ingest substances that they don't approve of, they put you in jail. If you hire people that they don't approve of, they put you in jail. This is a society that both Democrats and Republicans have imposed upon our land. And Donald Trump calls it greatness. The Democrats want more socialism. We have two ways to go in this party. We can devote ourselves and nominate a presidential candidate that's going to reform this welfare, warfare, state serfdom. I don't think that's the way to go, because we are committed to freedom. We have always been committed to freedom, and that means identifying these infringements on freedom and making the case to our fellow Americans of why a free society is the best society. And that means hitting these people and hitting them hard. I'm here to ask for your vote, your support, and your nomination as your presidential standard bearer, because that's exactly what I want to do to these people. Thank you.
Mr. Vora. My name is Arvin Vora. and I am running for president to end the welfare state, to end the warfare state, and end the income tax. Now, can I get a hell yeah for the Patriot Act? No, I can't. That gentleman over there at the end of the stage voted for it not once, but twice, and then voted to extend it. That gentleman at the end of the stage refused to pardon nonviolent drug offenders, as I have pledged to do on my first day. Now that's good. Not you. I have pledged to pardon all nonviolent drug offenders, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, and Ross Ulbricht on my first day. Doesn't know how pardons work. He's a genius with pardons. He pardoned somebody who died in 1848. He is an expert at this, but he is not an expert when it comes to political courage. But let me tell you, he is right about one thing. He has said publicly that this culture is not ready to legalize all hard drugs. And he's right. This culture is not ready. This culture has created this government, and it will recreate this government. Our job, the presidential standard bearer's job, is to change this culture so we can knock down this government. My website is votevora.com.
I'm Dan, taxation staff.
Take your hat off!
Why don't you?
I'm known for wearing this ridiculous big yellow hat, but don't worry, it comes off. I know, I have hair. So,
Who is that guy?
I was born in Los Angeles, I identify as a Texan, and I'm running for President of the United States. From Mexico. No respect for borders here. I want to ask everybody real quick. Raise your hand if you're married. Okay, keep your hand up if you have a contract with the government for that marriage.
Oh, shit.
Marriage license? Yeah. Don't put your hand down. We're talking marriage licenses here.
I bought back my right to marry
Okay,
my
so
wife.
how did that proposal go? We've been together for so long, I've been thinking about what we should do, and I think we should buy land together and sign a contract with the government. It's the best thing for us to do right now. Government's in our lives way too much. We need to get government out of our lives. I sound like a broken record on taxes, I know,
Get your phone up.
but taxes are connected directly to everything that sucks in this country. You talk to the left, the right, everything they hate. Immigration, whether you're for it or against it, taxes, welfare, having to pay high rent, that's all directly related to taxes. You get rid of those taxes, you solve a lot of problems. And that's what we need to do in order to get people to start thinking libertarian and start voting for libertarian candidates.
Yeah.
Mr. Mons.
I'm John Mons, and I'd like to be the Libertarian Party's nominee for President of the United States. A little bit of my background. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I've been living in South Georgia, a little town called Cairo for the last 20 years. My educational background is I actually graduated from high school in Gonzales, Florida at Tate High School, go Aggies. Morehouse College graduate, the degree in banking and finance. And for the last 20 years, I've had the dream job of my life, and that's being a homeschool dad.
Yeah.
I'm married with 4 children, and I'd
It
like
happens.
to say that I've been very active in the party for over 15 years. In my 4 races, only as a libertarian, I've never run a race for another party. I've gotten over 1.8 million votes for the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
You may ask, what's in it for you? Well, one, I've always run successful professional campaigns. I've always reached out to any media, anybody that wants to talk to my campaign or about my candidacy. I'll go anywhere and speak to anyone. And that was time.
My name is Vermin Supreme, and let me say that if you are a delegate, you are a very important person to me. I have spent the past 30 years building an audience, entering the nation's zeitgeist, and gaining a level of notoriety that allows me to make a genuine offer to you, the Libertarian Party, and the legitimate claim that I am indeed the most pragmatic candidate in this race. Woo! And this time, it's personal, and it's for the kids. Kids are naturally anti-authoritarian. Kids enjoy nonconformity. They love humor, and kids really want to know why things are the way they are and why they're not some different way. And that, my friends, is exactly what libertarians and kids have in common. These are scary times, and if the kids don't learn about libertarianism from libertarians, they are going to hear about it from socialists. And we, as libertarians, must present our vision for a transition to a post-state world. We must hold up examples of how we will alleviate the suffering during the transition times. We must hold up libertarian projects, such as the Libertarian Disaster Response Crew, such as the Liberty Memes community that has pooled hundreds of thousands of dollars to alleviate suffering. I have learned that the Libertarian Party is indeed a party of love and compassion and empathy. To this party, I am bringing you my levity and my gravitas. Together, we can spread the message of liberty. Thank you.
All right, we'll be moving on to the first group question. The question is, do you believe you can outright win the presidency? If so, how? If not, what are your goals in running for president under the Libertarian Party banner? Kokesh, you're up first.
That's a great question. Absolutely. And first of all, we win by standing on principle, because we are the party of principle, are we not? Now, I'm happy to recognize that it would take some kind of black swan, some kind of freak phenomenon for any libertarian to win the presidency in 2020. But we should be running to win, and we should have a practical policy that we can put in place when we do win. And we should be taking every shot we possibly can to make that paradigm shift happen. Now, I think having a breakout year for the Libertarian Party is a realistic goal, even if we don't.
Go, just go. You're good.
I think we can build a winning coalition if we have a message that really unifies all Americans. Again, localization is the cure for polarization. This is how we bring people together. I don't think anybody else on this stage has an actual plan for building the coalition of conventional non-voters and independents and disaffected Republicans.
To lower the voting age to 16, oh hell yes, I am the next president of America. That being said, I think this will be a campaign of outreach, of massive mobilization, of creating a viral tsunami, a tidal wave of libertarian ideas and concepts and memes that will be flooding the social media market with. It will be a very educational campaign. And of course, it will be, me and my staff will be doing everything that we can in our power to bring in lots and lots of young people into the fold and educating them about what is liberty and what is libertarianism. Thank you.
Mr. Bora.
Here's what happens if I'm the standard bearer. The first thing is that as many people in this country will know about jury nullification, know that we can use it to halt the drug war, know that we can all be partners in chief in our own right while our governors fail to do so. We will, every man, woman, as many people in America will know that as currently know where Aleppo is. I guarantee you, we will halt this drug war through jury nullification if I'm just the nominee. If I'm elected, I'm going to pardon everybody, obviously. If I'm the nominee, we are going to see more homeschooling, because I'm going to be talking a lot in favor of homeschooling, and you guys know I talk a lot against government schools. And I can be both incendiary, and if you've seen my national media presentation, I can also be persuasive on that topic. I am, at least people think I am, an expert in education, and many do trust the insights that I have on there. If I'm the nominee, we will see more cryptocurrency use. Because I already put out a hard.
Sorry.
And we will see, because cryptocurrency depends on network effect. So if I'm the nominee, we're going to get those gains. If I'm elected, we're going to do even more. Can we do it? If we work to change culture. We can do this through culture change. We cannot do this through compromise. And I am the candidate that will fight to change this culture so we can knock down this government.
Mr. Mons.
There's several ways we can win without getting a majority of votes. One, we have to have a candidate who's willing to leave no doubt in people's mind what a libertarian is. And I've done that in the past. The other way to do that is through influencing policy. I'll give you an example. When I ran for governor in Georgia in 2010, when you have an opportunity to debate the other candidates, there was a very strong policy that was very popular with the people, popular with the party down there, the Republican Party, but the Republican governor refused to sign it. That was Sunday sales, blue laws. Well, when I got in a debate, I hammered, when I'm given an opportunity to talk to another candidate about how he felt about that policy.
Throw it out angry.
I made him commit that if the Georgia legislation signed and will pass the bill, would he sign it? And that is exactly what he did. So I did not have to win that election to influence policy, and that's what we can do also on the federal level. We need, when we debate or push issues to the other candidates, get them to adopt our policies and have them take them and make it law, and that's how we can win without having to get a majority of votes.
Mr. Hornbill.
I am running to win. I'm not unmindful of the odds. The odds are not in favor of being elected president. But you know, it's like Han Solo said to CP3O, don't tell me the odds.
C3PO.
We have to fight to win this race. And we do that with our principles. I served on the platform committee for 3 terms back in the 90s.
You said C3PO wrong.
And I stood fast.
Do you hear that, crowd? He's already lost.
Principles of this party,
He won't win because he said that one
asset.
thing wrong.
Not only will they bring us liberty, they are the only practical solution for all the crises
He
both
lost
Democrats and
because he said
Republicans
that.
wage.
No points
Now you're
to Star
entitled to know
Wars.
what kind of race we
he
would
lost.
run. And I've got the best campaign manager in the party. I'm convinced of it. Jake Porter. I'll put him up against Trump's campaign manager and whoever the Democrats put up any day of the week. And we're on the same page of this. If you accord me the honor of your nomination, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to have a candidate that's going to be doing everything he can to win the presidency. We're targeting African Americans. I put this
We shouldn't target people specific to
Take
their
home and
race.
read
That's
from
racist.
an African American reporter in North Carolina, where we've been waging an active campaign in the North Carolina primary. He says he's to the left of Barack Obama, and he's considering voting for Jacob Hornberger. He details my campaigning, and he exhorts people to do the same. There's a Hispanic newspaper in 3 cities in North Carolina, Que Pasa Mi Gente. I walked in there and I said, we favor open borders. She calls in her publisher. They've just published an hour-long interview with me that was conducted entirely in Spanish. We're going to target people who don't vote and people who are disgusted with this system, including young people who are being fleeced. That's the practical aspect of a campaign that we would wage on your behalf.
Mr. Whitten.
So the way I see it, there's a 4-tier system that I define winning. I have pledged the next 10 years of my life to this party. In my 20s, I violated the first rule of holes. Stop digging. In my 30s, I dug out. My 40s, I rebuilt. My 50s, I killed it. And I am here for the next 10 years to support this party.
I'll still be here after 10 years.
Is as a candidate. It's better if I'm a nominee. It's better if I'm a nominee that makes the debate stage. It's better if I'm your nominee that is president. Last week, Jacob stood on stage and he said he's not running to win. That's what he said. This week he changed his mind. I don't know what he really means. and you want to apologize to everybody for saying that you're not running to win. You insulted my family. My son is here from Oregon. He traveled 3,000 miles. Andre Class is running to win an election here, and you stand on stage, you drop your pants, you poop on the stage, say you're not running to win. You owe every libertarian an apology for that. These people have hope, and they want something better, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Holy hell. Holy hell.
That's what he said last week. He's not running to win.
Mr. Holmberg, 30 seconds.
I said the exact same thing I said here before this party.
That's not true.
Let me put things in context, and you remain quiet.
You're a liar.
Mr. Moderator, put him
Please
under
remain
control.
quiet while the candidate's speaking. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's put this thing in context. I met this man last week at the California party. He was the most genial, friendly guy you'd ever imagine. He brings his wife to me and says, I'd like you to meet my wife, Julia. And I said, hi, Julia, really glad to meet you. We had a very nice conversation. After the debate was over, he came up to me and we started talking about his background. The video's on his website. I just listened. All he did was talk about his life, which I thought was very interesting. There's two Mark Whitneys in this. There's the Mark Whitney from last week at the convention, and then there's the Hurricane Whitney that has come into this debate. I don't know what has precipitated this. I have no idea.
Which one was drunker?
Censorship. Censorship. Censorship of political speech.
Mr. Berman.
Follow. All right, so how does a libertarian win the White House? It's easy. You just have to get everybody to start thinking like libertarians. So how do you start getting everybody to think like libertarians? It's easy. You just have to start talking to them like you actually care about them and what's in it for them. Because libertarianism has something in it for everybody. I have people supporting my campaign who came from hardcore Bernie Sanders supporters, Andrew Yang supporters, Donald Trump supporters, both sides. And they came over this way because I explained to them what my platform is going to do so many good things for them without all these fake promises, without new taxes, without more government. And I hear a lot of libertarians say, you know, there's 40% of the voters who don't vote, and if we could just get those 40% of the voters to come over our way, we could actually win this election. That's one group, and you would have to get 90% of that one group to win. Or you could just go for about 33% of the other two groups, the Republicans and the Democrats, who are already out there voting, and convince them we've got a better platform. Which one do you think is easier? I like to think the easy way. And our message has been really resonating with these groups, and we've proven that we can turn these people into libertarians.
Our next group question.
Davey, before, can I use a card to have 15 seconds? Because I think this is the most important question of all, for all of us that are putting in our time, our energy, our resources into this party. How can we have success? And not only have someone that represents the ability to get elected, but also the key issues that are going to resonate with the American people that the Democrats and Republicans have not delivered on. And what are they? The endless wars we're stuck in, and both Democrats, Obama and Trump, they all say we're going to get out. We never do. And the deficit. In the Democratic debate, nobody talked about $23 trillion of deficits, $400 billion a year in interest. We're paying a year, that painful interest we're paying on this deficit that Republicans and Democrats are running up. So those are the issues that are going to resonate with the American people and give libertarian success in 2020.
Folks, watch for the red card or a call of time, an audible time. With that, we will move on, if there are no other green cards to be played, to the next group question. Given that, at most, only 2 of the names on this stage will appear on the ballot in November, why aren't you running for local office? Do you believe you can affect the most change nationally rather than locally? The first candidate to respond is George.
Yes, I did run for U.S. Congress in '92. That's when we first got my Just Say Joe slogan. That was in the era of Nancy Reagan. with the Just Say No, so we replied with Just Say Joe. I do believe that we need candidates at every level, state and local. I must admit, I think most of us are more excited about the national level issues. Also, being libertarians, a lot of us who are in the party now got here because of liberty and because we don't think that we should even have some of these lower level offices, which is why we need to grow the party. We've got Democrats and Republicans that are running everything. We need to grow the party so that we have good candidates, so that we have donors, so that we have supporters and people knocking on doors. We need all of that so that we can take over the corrupt system we now have.
Jermons.
Well, it just seems like it's been a natural progression for me, because I've actually ran for local offices before. My first run for office was on a local school board seat in which I had to petition to get on the ballot. From there, and that was a race that I had success with. I set a state record as far as the percentage of votes for a Libertarian candidate in Georgia. And each time I've just taken another level in a progression. I ran next for a public service commission in Georgia. That was a statewide race. That's when I got 1 million votes. After that, I ran for governor and set a record for a gubernatorial candidate in Georgia. At that time, over 100,000 votes. And it just seems that I have had the fortune to be able to run good races and set records and get recognition for the party. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running for president. Is, to me, it's not about me personally, but it's about, one, the issues. It's always about the issues and the message, and two, it's about helping the party. And I think that I can help the party get us a little bit more recognition on a national level. And that will help us across the board, across the United States. I'm very cognizant of the fact that in some states, if we can get to that 5% level, then they'll have ballot access. Now, unfortunately, in Georgia, we need 20%.
Jesus,
but
what?
I know that if I'm the nominee,
Walk right by.
I feel strongly that some states are going to be helped to where we can surpass that barrier and make it a lot easier on these state organizations.
Credo has always been to act globally and lie very low locally. So I've been very lucky and very blessed to have been able to find this niche of running for president. I've been running for president for 30 years. It's a very natural extension of what I'm doing, is to make this run here. You know, the international media know me as an individual who runs for president. Millions of people across the globe know me as a candidate for the presidency.
That guy
so I felt that it was certainly the best use of my skill set and notoriety to be able to make this offer to you, the Libertarian Party. My services as a candidate, because I'm a very seasoned candidate, and it is arguable that in the past it's all been facetious and goofy fun, but now it's much considerably more real. Thank you.
Lincoln to provide a book and page citation. There are no criminal cases in any database, Westlaw, Lexis, thelaw.net, containing Attorney Hornberger's name. His career as an attorney was inconsequential. Very inconsequential.
Are there any remaining cards? Would you like to use them? Go ahead.
You're entitled to a presidential candidate that is going to be going out and expressing what you're fighting for and what you stand for. And I want you to know that you should be very proud of your convention organizer, your moderator, and your party hierarchy for the policy they have set forth here. It is It is not censorship. Censorship involves... Mr. Moderator, would you put him under control, please? Censorship in the First Amendment involves Congress.
I'll put his ass under control. Just
all it
have him
says
send me up
is a
there. I
control
got
on
this.
Congress and the federal government. Private property and private ownership is the bedrock of liberty, which is what we stand for as libertarianism. They have every right, and you should be proud of them for setting this policy. I told you that when I was in the 5th grade, I campaigned for John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson. I was excited about that campaign. I want this party to be attracting children into this thing. I want families to feel comfortable bringing their children into these conventions and in participating in this campaign if I'm your nominee. And the worst thing we can do is to have profanity in these conventions and in this campaign. And last one. To have the excitement of a campaign based on
that guy right there
is what I'm proposing for this party. Let me just wrap this up. So I commend you guys for the policy you've done and the courage you've done in setting this policy. I think it's a tremendous benefit to this party, and I think it's going to bring a lot of families and young people into the movement and into this party. Finally, when there's a district court criminal case in federal court and there's an acquittal, that does not go into the law books. There's no opinion written. Exactly, it's true. It's true. Of course it's true. And every trial, I was a trial lawyer. I was not an appellate lawyer. I handled some appeals. I appealed to the 5th Circuit. I appealed to the Texas Court of Civil Appeals. But my primary job was a trial attorney, county court at law, state district.
You're all done now.
Those are not in the recording.
Mr. Kokesh?
Yeah.
I'd just like to say it's been an amazing experience so far in this campaign. We've been running for almost 2 years, and to see candidates come together as a team, all of us, has been a really incredible experience. And I hope that spirit continues beyond tonight, possibly. But really, what we have an opportunity to do with a presidential campaign in 2020, as I said, it's not just unite all Americans, but yeah, we're going to be uniting all the nonsense factions and divisions within the libertarian movement as well. We are all here because we care about freedom. We want nothing less than a world set free in our lifetimes. Let's pull together.
Taxation is theft.
Yeah.
Inflation is too.
For fuck's sake.
All right, before we go to the closing statements, you guys all used your card, right? No? Would you like to use them all?
Sure. I've spent this past year working really hard, trying to make a sale, trying to let the Libertarian Party and the delegates and the individuals understand the offer that I am in fact putting on the table. Yes, I have a cast of characters. Yes, I have a character that I've developed. And yes, I have a very large fan base and all sorts of metrics to show that. And yes, I do have a magic boot. Yes, it has allowed me to communicate my First Amendment rights in an exponential fashion. It has allowed me to communicate with millions of Americans and communicate to media from around the flat globe. And these are some of the things that I have to bring to the table. And with my remaining time, I'd like us all to take just a moment of silence and meditate on how much we love one another. Thank you.
That's enough. That's enough. We've done enough.
Thank you. Was there any more cards?
That was enough.
Ms. Jorgensen, did you want to use yours?
I guess I could sell to the highest bidder?
No.
An actual capitalist. Very good.
All right. Well, there will be a straw poll after the debate. So please, if you have not got your little soldiers, see Ashley.
What does that mean?
Closing statements. Mr. Cheney, 90 seconds.
Well, thank you once again, Florida Libertarians. Great turnout here. Keep up the good work. All the grassroots efforts you're making are going to pay off. And my own prediction is that 2020 is going to be different. This is our year of opportunity. I just believe that. I just watch the Democratic Party, the animosity that's coming out of this primary they're involved in, and it's philosophical differences from the moderates or the progressive, what do you want to call them, but it's a war over there. And so this is just going to be a terrific opportunity for something different in this country. And I know we've always gotten our hopes up in the past, but I just believe 2020 is going to be different. And the issues that are going to resonate after the Democrats pick their nominee, it's going to be limited government, what we've all worked for all these decades. And that means just leave us alone. Let us live our lives as we see fit. We can make those own decisions. Leave us alone. All your job is balance the books. Don't give our children $23 trillion in growing deficits and interest on that debt. And respect the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and the 10th Amendment. Those are states' rights issues in the 10th Amendment. This is all the American people are asking. Leave us alone, balance the books, keep us out of wars, and respect our constitutional freedoms. I appreciate any support you can give me going forward. I love this country. Thank you.
Fool for a client. I spent the last 15 years preaching libertarianism to Democrats and Republicans, and if you watch that show, you'll see that I get a standing ovation when I do that. And the reason Attorney Hornberger was a failed attorney, this is not a Fourth Amendment issue. Property rights is Fourth Amendment. This is a First Amendment issue tonight. I'm going to advertise this forum at every subsequent debate, because what you've seen on this stage tonight is one leader. All of my opponents have failed tonight by their acquiescence, by their silence, by their acquiescence to the authoritarianism that imposed speech codes on a libertarian presidential debate. I'm going to Birmingham on Thursday after I fly back to San Diego. They are not censoring their debate, and I will be a choir boy there to prove that I know the difference. Thanks for your time, sir. One person. I got one delegate. We start there.
That's not what you have. That's not what that was.
Bring it on, authoritarian.
I am terrible, aren't I? I am terrible, aren't I?
This November, you might have 3 choices on the ballot. Donald Trump, a liberal, Democrat, billionaire, playboy, who banned bump stocks from New York City, or Michael Bloomberg, a liberal, Democrat, billionaire, playboy, who banned 20-ounce sodas from New York City. Any one of these libertarian candidates on stage tonight would be a better option. And yes, please, for everybody here on stage tonight, for standing up to represent the Libertarian Party. I think we need a candidate in 2020, and I'm running so that we can have a candidate for the Libertarian Party who has a proven record of getting national media attention, who can leverage existing name ID, who can support localization and local candidates in their races all across this country for the Libertarian Party, and work strategically with the national leadership and the state and local leadership of this party to win more races, but also with a message that can unify every single American and everyone across this party around the ideals of freedom. Someone who can make it clear to the American people why people like you and I are willing to stand up and put our lives on the line to ensure nothing less than a world set free in our lifetimes. Thank you very much.
Our goal is nothing more nor less than a world set free in our lifetime. That's from the preamble of our party platform. A simple statement of liberty like that is enough for those of us who love liberty, which I believe is everybody on stage and all of you in the audience. But it's not enough for most voters. My doctoral degree is in industrial organizational psychology, and it deals with topics such as leadership and motivation. And I understand that people